Hey, I'm Sad the Cat, and today I'll be having a look at the mountain climbing platformer Celeste. Celeste is the definition of something that's easy to learn but hard to master. My 11-year-old niece can pick it up without a problem, and it's still deep enough for true skill expression for all you speedrunners out there. It's really something for everybody. Celeste is about an adult named Celeste. Wait, what? Wait, then whose name's in the title? Oh, that's a mountain's name, okay. So it's about an adult named Madeline, who acts and looks more like a teen with daddy issues than anything else. But she's trying to climb the mountain. The journey's gonna be an arduous one, testing not just her body, but also the mind. It's really a roller coaster of emotions from start to finish. You're happy or sad when the characters are, and you get to really share some powerful moments together. Celeste isn't afraid to treat its players like adults, delving into darker topics which can be quite intense or harder to understand for younger audiences. What really sells the atmosphere is Lena Raine's expressive and emotional music, setting the mood for each chapter and helps tell the story of each location. Just listen and think about what's happening. Here's without the visuals. And now here's with the visuals. As you can hear, there's just this isolation, loneliness, and hostility. And it really translates over to the gameplay, which is the amazing thing. Because in this chapter, you barely talk to anybody. You cross huge dangerous chasms, and you're being battered by the winds on the mountain. Celeste has three main movement options: a jump, a climb, and a dash. Despite having very simple movement options, the game really pushes all that to the limits, and really implores you to be creative and gives you multiple ways to overcome a level. That's if you have the skills. The gameplay is also surprisingly immersive for a platformer, with integrated tutorials that don't break the flow of the game, and the amazing controller rumble. Rumbling occurs during cutscenes, dashes, dying, and maybe sometimes when an attack is coming. It seriously helped immerse me in the game and put me in the shoes of Madeline. The game has lots of hidden tricks and advanced techniques, hidden behind experimentation or by playing the B-sides, which I'll talk about later, but for some context, they're just bonus levels. This adds this layer of depth and mastery, which is what I'm really looking for when I'm playing a game, because I'm a filthy tryhard. But it helps give you more things to learn, even after completing the whole game. And Celeste doesn't just test your micro skills like jumping or platforming, it also tests your macro skills and how you approach the game. Big jumps like this one have you see through binoculars for jumps that stretch outside your field of view and ask you to look before you leap. The game wants you to see what's coming so you can plan ahead for it, and doesn't hide some unseen obstacle and lays out all its cards in front of you. The game consistency is really familiar to me, and it's what kept me playing. Because I don't feel like the game's unfair or it's rigged like some people might tell you, but it's clearly not. For the people that want a bit of surprise that keeps you on your toes, Celeste handles this in a rather different way, and choose to test your mastery of the level instead of just having a cheap kill. The game will have some seriously treacherous jumps where you think it's impossible to make it across. Or if you just take a closer look, it's something you've done before. Which is one of the best parts of Celeste, because it's consistent. It always has the same things and something that's familiar to you, and follows this formula of each chapter having its own gimmick, where it's introduced to you in a safe zone. This helps encourage experimentation and gets you accustomed to the level mechanic. In this chapter, you can't progress through the level without proper use of the space block. These per chapter mechanics are really pushed to their boundaries in later levels of the chapter, and never outstay their welcome, keeping things fresh and novel, but still being able to be fully developed within their respective chapters. One thing I really love about Celeste is its approach to difficulty. The best way to describe it is tough but fair, It shows you tough love, just like your dad. The game constantly pushes you outside your comfort zone, increasing in intensity with the levels completed, but still completely doable. And it helps keep the pace of the game really well. With this, I know I can do it, I just need to try it, instead of just saying, it's complete bullshit, I can't do it, it's unfair. And the thing that helps encourage this is the fast respawn time that sends you back to the level, letting you try again without the fear of failure and major setbacks. After each successful completion of a level, you autosave, and if you die, you return to that checkpoint. This really helps you get accustomed to falling down, which is normal, cause like riding a bike, you're gonna fall down before you actually learn how to ride a bike. And it's through this failure that Celeste really shines in how it makes you learn. If the levels aren't challenging enough, you can go for the strawberries scattered throughout each of the chapters. And getting the strawberries is 100% up to you and completely optional. But they really offer a sense of achievement, as some of them are just so hard to get and require you to really think, making getting them all the sweeter. The game doesn't punish you for avoiding them, but there is a small surprise if you do go out of your way to get them, really helping you feel good when you really overcome this challenge that you previously couldn't, like David conquering Goliath. But one big issue with this is that it unintentionally causes players to just blindly brute force their way through, which makes the player more and more frustrated, instead of feeling that they are closer to overcoming something that they previously couldn't before. This really tarnishes the internet experience of Celeste, of overcoming obstacles, which is the main theme of the story and the gameplay. So some things I really want to say about Celeste is how they really invest into the characters, which I don't see a lot of games doing. And it's one reason why I really like the story. You see the whole world through Madeline's eyes and share this bond and attachment to her, as you experience the things she goes through, and it's a very personal experience. Both of you are climbing the mountain together, both emotionally and physically. Each successful jump or failure makes you feel a bit closer to Madeline. Other side characters like the hipster Theo are really fleshed out as well, and have their own stories, making them feel like real people with their own personalities, instead of just being there for the sake of being there. And to just complement this, the dialogue is organic and fluid, and just doesn't dump exposition on you, and tell you everything. Times where you actually talk a lot are really well earned and much later in the game, once you really get to know the characters. But as good as I think the game is, it has quite a few flaws. The keyboard falters in comparison to the controller in every single way, being less immersive with the lack of rumble, while making executions harder than intended to. And control of the feather power is absolutely atrocious. I cannot stress how bad it is on the keyboard, and it really affects the gameplay. Furthermore, the game wants you to figure out a lot of things on your own, which is certainly respectable, but makes you miss out on a lot of content if you're not exploring enough. In one of the chapters, the core, you need to complete the B-sides to unlock them, which are obtained by completing a cassette challenge hidden in each of the chapters, which are hard versions of the respective chapters. And I really had no clue about this until I searched it up on the wiki, along with a lot of other things. Because even with the amount of content inside of the game, you don't know it exists. Overall, these issues don't make Celeste a bad game, and to be fair, it's meant to be played on a controller. And it's more like having a bad dessert, and doesn't ruin the other foods before, but it certainly affects the overall dining experience. You can come for the main course, but if you get the dessert, you might be a little bit disappointed. Enough from me, go play it yourself, and it's a great experience, and I still recommend you play it. You can wait for the Steam sale to lower the price from the $20 Sing dollars to a $12.50, or maybe, if you're lucky, lower, if you're not willing to pay the full price. That's all folks, and before I leave, here's a short montage I made. Here's some spoilers by the way. Bye bye.